soon as you see the thing that says YouTube, we're on YouTube, you can start. It'll be in the top corner of your picture.
It says that now, live on YouTube.
Go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rick Young. This is another segment of What's in Your Hand. What's in your hand means what can you do? What kind of talents, abilities, gifts, and skills that you have, and how are you using them in the world? So this is a motivational show. We're doing a 30 for 30. We're doing 30 motivational shows in a row, 30 days in a row. And we're interviewing 30 motivational people during this pandemic, which is incredible because this thing is shaking up not only America, but the world. This is a worldwide issue. So, Marc, how have you been handling this pandemic, Marc?
Oh, man, Rick, I can tell you, so long already, 6 months we are already in this thing. So, at the beginning of this pandemic, I was living in Spain, in Barcelona, and we were hit hard, as you probably know, and also our lockdown was probably one of the hardest in the world because we were not even allowed to go exercise. And you know how important exercise is. So we were really locked down in our houses. We could go out to shop, to the pharmacy, to the bank, and that's it. So, and there were strict controls, fines up to $3,000. So I lived on a boat. I stayed there on my boat. On the other hand, I have to tell you, I'm a writer. So for me, being locked up in a room for 10 hours a day and going out 1 hour to shop, it's normal. We call it a normal life, but still, I mean, the lockdown was hard. So I used it to reflect because, you know, self-reflection is a very important thing. And many times we don't do it because we don't find time for it. But this time we have time, finally. We were forced to slow down a little bit because everything shut down. So I reflected. And one of the first things was, well, I said, where do I want to be during the next pandemic or during the next lockdown? Because then Spain opened up, you know, in Europe, we opened up end of June. And now I moved to a small island in the Mediterranean called Malta. It's about 60 miles south of Sicily, Italy. And why did I move there? Because I noticed that they were handling the pandemic very well. Not so much fear mongering and panic, but just facts. And of course, you know, taking care of each other, doing the social distancing, putting on a mask if you're in a closed room. But I liked it. I liked the style. And then I just moved from Spain to Malta. So now I'm a resident in Malta.
All right. So I made a little, I was going to say something to you, but I have to change it because I know that I cannot say this to you. Here's what I was going to say. I was going to say I made a mistake, but then I caught myself. I cannot say that to you because I didn't make a mistake. So what happens, I have this book, right?
Yeah.
But this is the workbook.
Oh.
And I ordered it. I'm thinking I'm ordering the book, but I got the workbook. So it's not a mistake though, because everything happens
for a reason. And this is good. Maybe you are already ready for the workbook because one of the core messages of 30 days. And that's how I got the idea to write a book, because who was I to write a book? You know, 7 years ago, I was jobless. I'm a normal guy. I'm not a writer. Now probably I am, but I didn't think. I had ideas, and I'm reading self-help personal development books since I was 16. I read them all. I knew all the theory. Nothing happened. Why? Because I wasn't practicing, you know, I wasn't doing the stuff. I wasn't doing the work. You are already ready for doing the work. So what happened is once I started doing the work, once I started writing down my goals, doing some affirmations, practicing gratitude, and all these great things you can do, suddenly my life started to change. And today it's 7 years later. I've sold over 300,000 books. I was alone, no publisher behind me. So I did it all self-published on Amazon and brought myself, and what you said in the beginning when we agreed, that I took responsibility of my life. I didn't expect anything when I was jobless, not from my boss, not from the government, just from myself. because I've seen other examples, and you know it, when one person can do it, you can do it. So I just worked hard, because the hard work, like in boxing, without hard work, you go nowhere, you know? So I did the hard work, the daily work, and could then now create the life I always wanted. So the core message is do the work.
Well, let me ask you, how did you find out about this thing called personal development? And how did you find out about it?
That was because I had a very, also difficult to imagine that a German middle class adolescent can have a tough life, but I had a tough life in my adolescency. You know, like we all are in our teens, we start questioning, why is this happening to me, or what's happening, or what is that for, what is the reason? I didn't know then that everything happened for a reason. I was like, what is all this? And then my mom gave me a book, and it was not even personal development. It was a very spiritual book. It's called how is it called? Speaking with Seth, or something like that, from Jane Roberts. And I read that book, and it answered all my questions, and it talked about, which, imagine we are talking about the 90s, mid 80s, 90s, just thoughts create your reality. The only limits are the ones you set yourself. So this was like science fictions in the 80s. You couldn't even tell people that you're reading a book like that, because they're like, oh, he's going. But then this book was the basis for me. It was a comfort. I learned also, I said, okay, you know, I have nothing to lose. So, okay, let's believe it, right? My thoughts create my reality. The only limits I set myself, the only limits I have are the ones I put myself. And then from this came, of course, then reading other personal development books, all the old guys, you know, like Dr. Joseph Murphy, Norman Vincent Peale, and then Anthony Robbins, Jack. So it goes one, you know how it is, one after another. And the thing is, what I said before, I read them, and it was great, and I underlined everything. But whenever it says, write down your goals, or look for your values, or write down 3 things you are grateful for, then the books were blank. So they were all underlined, but when it came to the action part, they were always blank, because I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it later. Never did it. And then when I turned 40, around 39, I did a life coach training, and I said, wow, so everything I've learned from personal development, and even from this spiritual book, is actually now in coaching. They gave it like a structure. They gave it like, put some science in it, because science has made incredible advances also in the science of positive psychology and all this stuff. So that a lot of the things that 30 years ago you could believe or not believe, now you actually have the science to back it up. And then I said, wow, so there's something to it. And that's when I learned that I need to take action, that I need to do stuff, because what I usually did is when I was on a low, I read my self-help, then I was good again, and then I put it away until the next time I was on a low. After this transformation, when I was a coach, when I turned 40, I was like, and what if I keep going? What if I actually keep doing the exercises, even if I'm doing well? And that was also a great moment to see, wow, it gets even better, because these small incremental wins every day, in a year and 2 or 3 years, they make incredible stuff.
Now, what are the exercises?
Now, for example, so the goal setting. Goal setting has become a very important part of my life. So I set goals for 10 years, for 5 years, but those are goals like in the book, there's the exercise where I said, what do you think is possible in 10 years? What do you want in 10 years? Because 10 years is a long time. And what do you want in 5 years? What do you want in 1 year? And then also I set goals for the year, but actually I have to tell you, Rick, I'm working on daily goals. So every day I have my 4 or 5 goals, what I have to finish. And I know that if I finish these goals, automatically my life is going to be great. It's logical. And then another exercise would be, which I think is the most impactful and also the simplest. So everybody who's watching us or listening to us and doesn't know where to start with this, the gratitude exercise, where you just write down 3 things you are grateful for. For example, I'm grateful for today to talking to you finally. I'm grateful for my computer. I'm grateful for Zoom. that makes this connection possible, because we are thousands of miles apart and still we can talk like we were sitting across each other at my table here, right? So that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my mother, for my girlfriend. And then when you write it down, you really feel the gratitude. So I feel the gratitude. I get goosebumps when I talk about it because I have a lot of practice. I'm doing it since 7 years. When you start, it might be a little bit difficult to find 3 things you are grateful for, because we take a lot of things for granted. This gratitude is awesome. And now, especially in this pandemic, I think now we notice so many things we are taken for granted. We could go to the bar around the corner whenever we wanted. We're going to go for a walk our dog. And now suddenly we can't, you know? So this gratitude exercise, and it retrains your brain to see more of the positive things, to see more things that you are grateful for. This has another effect, and it's scientifically proven. You sleep better, less prone to depression, more optimistic. You see more opportunities. So it's really like a magic pill. So that's one of the exercises I would recommend to everybody.
Let me take a station ID. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rick Young. This is GHCR.NYC. And my guest today is Marc Reklau. Reklau. And he's the author of 30 Days, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life. Marc, why do you say read your goals 25 times a day? Why that? Why 25 times a day?
No, I just a random number. So it means write it a lot, but I needed to give you a number, but write it down 25 times a day. What I have to say is you need to search your own exercise. Some will work, some will not work. This is a funny thing that you say that with the 25 times, because I wrote for 2 years, 25 times a day. Money comes easily and effortlessly to me. I earn $5,000 a month easily and effortlessly. And for 2 years, I didn't. But I think I imprinted it so deeply in my subconsciousness that now I do. So I haven't written it down since 3 years, but now it still vibrates in my brain. And I now earn $5,000 easily and effortlessly with my book sales, thank God. So sometimes you use it to imprint a positive affirmation into your subconscious, because our subconscious.
Do you talk to yourself?
Yeah, we all do. We all do, Rick.
We all do.
We all do most of the days. Nowadays, we can admit it. 20 years ago, they would put you away if you tell it. But nowadays, the science has also found out that we talk to each other most of the days, 12 hours a day, 60,000, 70,000 thoughts. And I do talk to myself. And of course, very important that you mention it, the way how we talk to ourselves, and you know it as a boxer, because the way how we talk to ourselves is also what makes our life. Because if you go into a fight and you're like, oh God, I don't feel well, what fight will it be? But if you go in there and you say, I know I'm in good shape, I'm going to do it. How did the fight work out, right? You probably beat the other guy up. So that's how in life it works also, yeah? It's very important to talk, yeah.
Now, you study philosophers, scientists, psychologists, and these motivational people. From these, what did you learn from studying all these different great minds?
What did I learn? I learned that there's one truth, and we have many different explanations for it. Okay. And what's very important is also in my book, I only give solutions, possible solutions, but everybody needs to find their own solution, because I can tell a lot of stuff here. Everybody has to try it out for themselves. And of my book, of any other book, the exercises, don't say goal setting because I say so. You need to choose which goes best for you. If goal setting goes well for you, you choose it. I had clients who said, I don't like goal setting. I said, well, choose another one. I won't force you to, but it will. And then with time, they find it. And also it's the thing, me or you saying something to people is one thing, but us living it. And they look at us and say, well, Rick does this thing with the gratitude, and look how a happy guy he is. then they will do it, you know. And so what I also learned was this, that a lot of exercises that are mentioned, that's also the core of the book, they work, but most of us don't do them. I would say 97% of us don't do the exercises. If we do the exercises, though, the 3-5% who do the exercises succeed. Not all the time, because that's also a misunderstanding. Success doesn't mean, it's not a linear. It doesn't go up, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, but every now and then we succeed. And then we can build up on this success, and then we fall down again, and then we get up again.
Yeah.
So
one of my friends, Jeffrey Vincent Noble, a friend of mine, he says, we're all born to win, but we're conditioned to lose. What do you say to that?
Whoa, that's good. I mean, actually, we are already winners. We born winners already, because one sperm won against 200,000 others. So yeah, we already won. We already won when we come out. But then the thing is, yeah, it's exactly, we are conditioned. I mean, you can't, it's difficult for me to add something because it's such a great phrase. The thing is exactly, when we are born, we are winners. And then we are conditioned by ourselves, by our parents, by our school, by society. You can't do that, you don't do that, and that, and that. And that's very difficult. So coming back to what you said to me in the beginning, I take responsibility. We have to learn to take our responsibility and to put this away. I'm sure you have heard it many times, that you can do what you did at the end. You think that what do you think what happened 7 years ago when I said, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to turn it into a bestseller? What do you think what people said? Oh yeah, Marc, we believe in you. No. I said, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Why don't you look for a job? But what is going on with you now? And I had to do it because believe in myself. And in your sports, it's the same thing. Believe in yourself is a big thing. And that's what we have to build again, because we are conditioned to not believe it. If we live in a healthy environment, we are conditioned to believe in ourselves. But most of the time it's like, no, you can't, you won't, you are bad, you don't deserve it. So we have to recondition us. And we do that also by self-talk again. So by our thoughts.
Are you ready for this next question? Are you ready for this next question?
I'm already ready. Bring it on.
Okay. How does a person learn how to learn? A lot of people get stuck with that. Learn how to learn. You know I heard say that? This guy, he owned the Mavericks, Marc Cuban.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to learn. How do you learn how to learn? Some people get stuck there. They want to, but they don't know how to learn.
You learn how to learn by doing it over and over and over and over again. I think repetition. Because I also learned how to learn like this. I was not good at learning. But, and then another thing for me was, when I went into the coaching training, 200 hours of coaching training, I said to myself, because I was going to learn, but I thought I already know everything because I read a lot. I said, Marc, no matter what you think you know, you will sit there and take it all in. Because when you think you know already everything, then your mind wanders. You don't listen to the teacher, and then at the end you don't learn. So I forced myself really to sit down and listen to everything, say, okay. That was the difficult thing, to stay concentrated, although you already know everything. And then sometimes we have to unlearn. Sometimes we have to unlearn and then learn again.
So, there's this guy that plays basketball. You might have not heard of this guy before. You know anything about basketball?
Yeah. Dirk Nowitzki. I was a big Dirk Nowitzki fan. Unfortunately, he retired.
Okay. Yeah, he was a good player. He had a good jump shot. He's a good player. He won a championship. But this other guy I'm thinking about, I don't think you heard of this guy before. He was a basketball player. And he goes by the name of Michael Jordan. I don't think you heard of him before.
No, who's that? No, incredible. Michael Jordan. Wow.
So I interviewed this guy, Robert E. Kreiner, and he goes, his middle name E, he calls himself Mr. Enthusiasm. for the E. So I took the W. I said, well, my middle initial was a W. I said, what I'm going to use? So I said, I chose wisdom. So I chose wisdom for my middle name as I'm studying, seeking wisdom, learning wisdom. But this guy we're talking about, Michael Jordan, like I said, I don't think you ever heard of this guy, right? So this guy was obsessed with being great at the game. So like Robin said, when this guy walked on the court, he was like, he knew that no one can stop him. He knew it. And to have that same attitude, I told Rob, what if you take that same attitude and put that into personal development? Like Absolutely. You attack it. What if you attack it like that? Most people don't.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. Of course, I saw The Last Dance, and I wish I would have seen it 25 years ago. I think I would have accelerated.
I didn't see it yet.
Wow, still. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, and I can tell you, because I admire Michael Jordan, and I tell you why. Of course, everybody knew him. Everybody knew him. I didn't know. But in the beginning, when I was young, when I was 18, 20, I thought he only became the greatest because he was the most talented and he was a genius in something. Then when I was working on 30 Days, I found out he didn't play in his high school team. So then I admired him. Yeah, I admired him even more because I know, what did he do? Well, practice more than the rest. And then when I saw The Last Dance, where you get really, when you see everything, then I said, wow. I mean, if I would have watched this movie with 16 or 14, I would probably be a professional soccer player, because I was a very good soccer player, but I also always thought it's the talent. You know, somebody is more talented, only in reflection, I saw that when I got worse was when I trained less, because I came to a very good level, training a lot, and then I thought I've already made it, the big mistake, and then I was going down because I wasn't training anymore. And if I just only knew, you know, with 16 years, what we're talking about, it's not a talent, it's not a genius, it's work. It's work, and in personal development works the same way. And then to see how Michael Jordan, how he obsessed, how he's self-motivated, you know, like George Carlin saying hello to him, that was enough for him to build so much motivation to beat the Sonics the next day, you know, because he built.
Who said something to him?
George Carl, I think he was the coach of the Supersonics, Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah.
And they met him at a dinner, and he didn't say hi to him because. But the fun thing is, they told him, don't say anything wrong to Michael Jordan because he will use it and then he will destroy you. And then he didn't say anything, and Michael Jordan used it to destroy them anyway. So that is incredible. So the mental toughness that he had, and you can see, you can work for that. And that's something what the young people that are listening to us, I mean, there are no excuses. You know, it's like you need to be obsessed with your personal development, and you can make it. And I got to the point with 40, so I don't want to say I wasted 20 years, because these 20 years gave me a lot of experience, a lot of life and everything. But and I'm happy at least I got where I wanted to go now with 47. But man, if I would have watched this movie with 16, you know? Woo! Yeah.
So there was another guy. I don't think you heard this guy also. He goes by the name of Jelly Bean. That was his nickname, Jelly Bean, right? And he looked at Michael. He says, that's the guy. I'm going to study this guy. I want to know I want to be like this guy. And he studied this guy. His name was Kobe Jelly Bean Bryant. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy.
Yeah, I've heard of him too.
Yeah.
And what a guy.
He looked at Michael and says, well, he almost was walking like him, talking, sounding like him, shot everything. There was an interview with Reggie Miller, and they had the same agent, Kobe, Reggie. So the agent said, hey, you know, talk to this kid. You know, I'm going to be, I'm going to, be managing this kid. You know, just talk to him. They said the talks wound up being like frequent, like more than he thought it was going to be 1 or 2 times. The conversation was frequently. And he said this guy wanted to know everything. He was asking about Michael, and what was all the trash talking about with Michael, and why did he do this and why did he do that? And so Reggie was like, they're talking, and then all of a sudden it's quiet on the phone. He's thinking maybe the guy hung up. He says, yo, are you there? He said, yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening. He said the guy was quiet because he was listening. And so that's another one. You got Michael, and then you got this guy, Kobe, that was just, I mean,
That's
he was
how you
taking
do
like
it.
2,000 shots. Yeah. So again, imagine a guy take that into personal development. What would happen to the guy?
That's how you do it.
You, me, yeah.
That's how you do it, Rick. There was a study, I think it was from Harvard Business School, and they were studying extraordinary successful people. So they're studying what was separating the top 10% from the rest. And they found out it was two things. One thing, they always believed in themselves. They always believed they can succeed. And two was, they were lifelong learners. They always asked questions. They always wanted to learn more. They never thought they know it all. And that's what I told you before. For me, one time when I plateaued, it was because I thought already I knew everything. And then it went down because you never know everything. So the same thing that you said, so we can learn from other people. Actually, in my book, you won't find anything new. Everything you've heard about it, there's nothing new because it's just a habits that I saw in a lot of personal development books. And when I studied successful people, you can see they have the same habits, like getting up early in the morning, believing in themselves. So I copied those habits, or model, because you can never copy somebody. You need to be yourself and copy. So that's called modeling, so Kobe couldn't be like Mike, but he could nearly be like him. But he was Kobe. He was not a copy of Mike. He was Kobe Bryant. So, and we can do that. And that's actually, what I've been doing the last 7 years is just taking the best habits of successful people that I see and just putting it into practice and putting the work, putting in the work. So
now, Kobe was in the playoffs, young player, came down, big shot, important game, shot the ball, air ball, didn't touch anything. Came down again, important game, same game, important shot, crucial to winning and losing the game, shot another air ball, 2 air balls. A lot of people that would have crushed them and devastated them, and their career would have went. 2 air balls in a big game, everybody's watching you.
That's another thing. They keep believing in themselves, and I love this also. There's this, it was a Nike advertisement of Michael Jordan where he said, I failed 3,000 shots, 150, 60 times I got the game. Yeah. And that's why I succeeded, because he went back, he tried over, and that's how it works. That's how it works.
When I get in the studio, I usually play that. That's one of the videos I play doing my show. And it's another one about Michael. Oh man, I love that. Yeah, I love that.
And when you can take this, and also take it to your life, then you have won. And I can tell you, that's what happened to me. I have failed more, Rick, in the last 7 years than I have ever failed before. But I also was more successful than I was ever before, because 7 years ago, I was stuck for 10, 15 years because I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of making mistakes, but a part of life, you need to do it. And the earlier you learn it, the better. And I don't know who said it. I think it was Denzel Washington said it. Fail often, fail fast. Because if you fail fast, you learn fast. And when you can take this into your life and really accept failure as part of success, or as a stepstone to success, life gets a lot easier and a lot better, and the pressure goes away. And if you only have to commit yourself to learn something from this failure, quote unquote, because it's not failure at the end, because you learn always something of it. So you need to fail to succeed.
That's right. So Marc, I was a boxer. But at one time, I mean, I still love basketball. I still enjoy the game, and I enjoy watching all those great players. So we stood on the basketball area. So on the basketball court, there's 5 players. How many players on the soccer field?
11.
On the team?
11.
Okay. Well, we're doing basketball now. So basketball, there's 5 players. So I want you to give me 5 of your top motivational success teachers, living or passed on. Your top 5.
My top 5 surely, yeah. Tony Robbins is in there, of course.
Okay.
Brian Tracy.
Oh, okay.
Jack Canfield.
Okay.
T. Harv Eker.
Okay.
And one more.
Yeah.
Man, one more. Sean Akers. Sean Aker. He's the guy who talks about happiness. He's not a motivational speaker. He is the guy he wrote a book, The Happiness Advantage. And he put
what's his name?
Sean Aker. Sean Aker. A-C-H-O-R. Yeah.
So his last name again?
A-C-H-O-R. And Sean is S-H-A-W-N.
No.
Yeah.
I got Sean there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Isn't Sean involved with Success Magazine in some way? Is that the same guy?
No, that's Brendan Burchard, I think. Brendan Burchard, could it be?
Okay.
Sean Aker is not so known as a motivational speaker. He's more a happiness researcher. He was in Harvard. He taught this happiness class in Harvard, and he has wrote this book. He's written this book, The Happiness Advantage, where he teaches us how to be happy, but based by scientific facts. So it's an amazing book. So it's really, I underlined nearly every second phrase. So it's not like pure motivation, but it's a very valuable book. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, let me do a station ID. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rick Young. This is another segment of What's in Your Hand here at GHCR.NYC. And my guest today, Marc Reklau. Reklau. And he's the author of a book, 30 Days, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life. Great book. I'm really enjoying talking to you. Why did you pick T. Harv Eker?
Because he wrote about he has this book, Millionaire Mind.
Yeah.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's about money mindset, and it really helped me a lot. Because the money mindset, because 7 years ago I thought, you have to work hard to earn some money. Money doesn't grow on trees. You cannot earn money while you sleep. And then I had to eliminate these beliefs and change them. And now I'm earning money in my sleep. My books sell all over the world 24/7, because they never sleep. It's always 12 o'clock somewhere, right? So now India wakes up at this time. Japan wake up. I sell books there. I still sell books in the US. The Europeans, we go to sleep now, but then tomorrow when you all sleep, I start selling in Europe. So I think to earn money, you need to change your beliefs. Remember at the beginning we said your beliefs create your reality. And I have T. Harv Eker there because his book helped me a lot to eliminate all these limiting beliefs about money.
Now, how many books you said you sold?
About more than 300,000.
Wow, 300,000. Now, do you know that Jack Canfield, him and Marc Hansen, they sold 500 million books?
Yes, it's another thing. Another thing. So many times when I started out, I thought of Jack Canfield because they were laughed at from their publisher, and I was laughed at too. So I said, okay, they laughed at Jack Canfield too. It's nothing lost here, and so it's really so. These I also took as a role model. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter woman. She was rejected by 11 or 12 publishers. Yeah. I was ignored by 20, 25 publishers. So those people helped me. you always need an example. Like we said, like Michael Jordan can be an example. If you are a kid that doesn't play in the high school team, you can still make it to the NBA because Michael Jordan made it. Also, Shaquille O'Neal, I heard, didn't play in his high school team at a point. So when you look at these stories more profoundly, you see it's not walks in the park, you know? Mm-hmm. And so for me, that was a good, imagine I was jobless. I was finished. I was 40 years old. I was in Spain. I applied for jobs in Germany because I'm native German. Nobody wanted me in Germany. They said that guy is lost. He lived in Spain too much time, too much siesta and fiesta, and nobody wants him. And then I just decided to write my book, try it as a life coach. Life coach didn't work out so well, but the books are working now. So, and I needed these examples also in the first 5 months. Of 30 days, I sold maybe 200 books. And then I saw an interview of Paulo Coelho, the great Paulo Coelho of The Alchemist, with Oprah. Right. And he was telling her, well, you know, Oprah, in the first half a year, I didn't sell one book. And I was like, whoa, I already sold 200 more books than Paulo Coelho in his first half year. So, and I really tried every little thing, you know, and that's the self-talk, to keep going, you know, don't give up. And I think that was one of the most important things in retrospective. I didn't give up. And Rick, you cannot imagine how many times life gave me the opportunity to just give up, you know, and just look for a job and I didn't. Yeah. Thank God I didn't. There was something inside me that said, no, keep going. And there's another great phrase from Edison, the inventor. He said, the best way to succeed is always to try one more time. And whenever I was close to that, I was always thinking of him, Edison, okay, one more time. Okay, let's try one more time. Sooner or later, you will make it if you always try it one more time. So
yeah. Why did you pick Brian Tracy?
Brian Tracy, because he was one of my first contacts also. He has a lot of books. Above all this, Eat the Frog, which is very good for productivity. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was, you stumble around him. If you look for self-help books, I mean, Brian Tracy, I think he has over 50 books. So he show up sooner or later, he will be there.
Yeah, definitely. And why Tony?
Tony, because Tony has been there always. I mean, since I think I read his first book. I don't even know anymore the title in English, but 86, 87 was also one of my first books that I read, and I even applied it as an intern in his company in 96, but I never got an answer. So, but yeah, Tony Robbins, I mean, he's also, thanks to him, I learned a lot of stuff that I could apply. At the end, we all talk about the same thing, you know. The important thing is, what helped me is when you read it over and over again from different persons, you think, there's something to it. That one says it, that one says it, that one says it. So maybe I should just try it. And then again, that helped me to put the work in, to do the exercises, and to succeed at the end.
Can I give you my 5?
Yes.
Napoleon Hill.
Oh, of course. How could I forget him?
Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
Les Brown.
Okay, wow, yeah. Now you said, let me know all I have forgotten to. Yeah, awesome, yeah.
There's a guy named Herbert Harris, who's a good friend of mine. He wrote a book called 12 Universal Laws of Success.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome guy. And Lisa Nichols.
Lisa Nichols, I know her.
Well, let me just tell you, she was in The Secret.
Yes. Now I remember, yeah.
And she was in Chicken Soup for the African American Women's Soul and Chicken Soup for the African American Soul. And she went to this meeting in Las Vegas. She went there 42 times. That's how she got involved. I went over there. I only went 3 times. I went 3. She went 42. Look what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
She's killing them. Oh, and let me just add, my favorite number is 7. So I'm going to add 2 additional ones, which would be Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice. And then there's also a guy by the name of Willie Jolly. He wrote a book called A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback.
Super.
Willie Jolly. Yeah. So I picked 7. I know I said 5, but I picked 2 additional ones.
That's okay, because I mean, I could put the 5 on your team. I could put them on my team because they are really like the first. Wes Brown, of course, Jim Rohn, Lisa Nichols. So I just, when you were telling the names, I was like, holy cow, did I forget those? Because they are all in. They are all in. So I guess we need to make a soccer team with 11, and then we have them all there.
That's right. That's right. I didn't pick a soccer or football because we'd be here all day naming these great teachers. 11, so. And then football is offense and defense, so that's like almost 22. So I said, let me stick to basketball. Keep it.
But it's great. That's a great. I mean, if the people that listen to us read all these, our top 5 or your top 7, that's a lot of material, and that will be definitely pave the way to success.
Okay, so you ready for this next question?
Of course.
You sure now? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, here we go.
Let me have a sip of water. Let me bring it.
Let me do a station ID first. My name is Rick Young. This is another segment of What's in Your Hand. And we are GACR, and we're on Grant Projects University. We're in a housing project in Harlem. And we have a radio studio here. It's amazing. And my author is Marc Reklau.
Reklau.
Marc Reklau. Okay, I gotta work on that. Gotta keep saying it until I get it. Reklau.
Exactly.
And he's the author of the book 30 Days. Change Their Habits, Change Their Life. This question is, what does the word freedom mean to you?
What does the word freedom mean to me? Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom means to me to do what I want to do, with whom I want, where I want.
Okay, and that's without hurting anyone else, right?
Exactly. Of course. Of course. No, it's like, so freedom is that, so freedom to do, for me it is writing, to do what I want to do, what I love to do, or giving interviews, to choose with whom. Right now I'm having a lot of fun doing this interview with you, and where I want, which half a year ago was on a boat in Barcelona, and right now it's in an apartment on Malta, a small island in the Mediterranean. And that's it. And it just always goes without hurting anybody, of course. Mm-hmm. Of course.
Why did you pick, why 30 days?
It's a very funny story. So I was looking for the title of the book. So I wrote the book. I had the manuscript ready, and I didn't have a title yet. But I said, okay, I have 2 weeks, because when I gave the manuscript to an editor, proofreader, I knew I have 2 weeks to find a title. And then I said, okay. And I had like 20 titles written down. 30 Days was not one of them. And I was on Ibiza. I was on Ibiza, on the island of Ibiza, with my best friend and his wife. And we were at a beautiful restaurant, beautiful views, had 2 bottles of white wine. I think the 2 bottles also played their part. And then then I went to wash my hands. And then it came to me, 30 days. And I was like, wow, 30 days. Yeah, sounds good. Then I checked back and said to my friends, wow, 30 days. They said, yeah, sounds good. And then I needed a subtitle, because 30 days doesn't say much. So of my list of titles or subtitles that I have written down, this was one of the subtitles. Change your habits, change your life, because we change our lives by changing our habits, by changing small things every day. And that's how I got to the title. It was the day, and look at this, it was the day when Germany won the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup in 2014. And the World Cup was 30 days long. So there was a lot of things coming together. And also, of course, what also influenced it. So with habits, they say it takes 21 days, 30 days, 66 days. But I found also 30 days is a quite good number. So if you do a habit, a thing, every day during 30 days, I think in most of the cases you have the habit. There are some habits they take more. It depends on the person and the habit, you know. So sometimes, I mean, if you say, I want to drink a bottle of water before going to sleep, that's probably a habit. In 5 days, it's automatic. If you say, I want to get up at 5 o'clock and do a 2-hour workout, that's probably a habit that takes half a year. But so, yeah, I thought I just had a very good feeling with it. 30 days, change your habits, change your life. And I think I was right.
Yeah. Hey, Marc, I'll be right back. I'm going to wash my hands.
Okay.
So that was.
There was no COVID then, huh?
I'm going to treat you like Michael Jordan, man. I'm going to be Kobe. You're going to be Michael, right? You wash your hands. I'm going to go wash my hands, man.
Where's your book? Is it already in the making?
No, it's not yet. Not yet. You got to put it together.
Yep.
But let me ask you. This is going to be kind of tough. This next question is really going to be kind of tough. Like, what do you say is your ultimate goal? And before you say that, I want your goal to be so ultimate that I say, oh, that's crazy. No way. You're crazy. No way. I want a goal that's way beyond reach. Crazy
very difficult for me right now, you know, because I set a very crazy goal 7 years ago. I can tell you 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I wrote down my 10-year goals. I had nothing. Remember, I had nothing. I was still not even jobless. I was in a shitty job that I hated. And I had nothing. And I said, what do you want in 10 years? And I said, I want a house, a big car, a boat, 1 book, and I want to be financially free. And it has 7 years have passed since then. I don't want a car anymore because this island is so tiny. You don't need a car. You go in taxi everywhere. I have a nice house, not a house, an apartment. I lived on a boat for 2 years. So I have a boat, but I'm going to sell it because it's also, I have 10 books. So not only 1. So it's really, right now, it's very difficult for me to set new goals because I have also learned, because I want to be happy. That's a huge goal. But I have learned that it will not be the goal that makes me happy. It will be the process. It will be the person I become on the way that will make me happy. So for right now, I just want to write more books, travel a lot once we can travel again. Maybe one day meet you personally in New York and have a couple of beers, for example. That's a goal. That's not so good that you say, oh no, that's not reachable. So I really, right now, I would say I'm quite close to really being unconditionally happy. And unfortunately, so I have to disappoint you with right now, ultimate goal. It doesn't matter, because if I say I want to sell 1 million books 7 years ago, it would be incredible. But now I really have to say, probably it's going to happen. You know, it's like, because if we go on, because it's getting exponential. So I was selling the first year, I was selling 10,000 books. Then after 3 years, 50,000. And now it's going really exponential. So, and I know it's not about the number, because then you get to 1 million. And the mistake would be to say, oh, now I have this, now I'm not happy, now I want 5 million. So you need to be happy already. And that's what some wise person also always said to me, he said, if you're not happy with $1,000, you will not be happy with 10,000. But if you are happy with 1,000, then with 10,000, you will be even more, you know? So yeah, it's great that you said it. It's such a great question, because that brings me to something. And maybe that's because I don't have so huge goals also, because the more goals I set, and some I reach, some I don't reach. But I can, and it's also practice again. After a while, I got to a point where I said, it's not about will I reach it? It's when will I reach it? And that's awesome. You know, when the doubt is away, the doubt is away not only because you know you're probably gonna reach it, but also you know if I don't reach it, no problem. I'm used to not reaching all my goals every year. I only reach half of my goals every year, but that's far better than not having goals. So yeah,
Right.
that's what I can tell you about that. But if I come up with a better one, I write it to you in LinkedIn. But right now I have to say I'm really chilled, really happy.
What is this thing called personal excellence? What does that mean? Personal excellence. What does that mean?
That means that we are growing. So that it means for me always when I compare it to perfection, many people want to become perfect and perfection doesn't exist. And can frustrate us if we are perfectionists and we don't get, then perfectionists usually are very hard on themselves. They never reach the goal, you know, so they're constantly frustrated. When you go for excellence, that means you are in a state of growth. You can always strive for excellence. Be the best you can be. Be the best you can be with other people, for yourself. And it's a much more relaxed, right? Because it's not, because, you know, it's an eternal process. I will work on my personal excellence until the end, until I fall and go to sleep forever, you know? So that's the thing.
Now, you are a personal development consultant. What is that and what do you do?
Well, yeah, now I actually already strike that out of my biography, but a while ago
You
I went
struck it
into
out? Really?
yeah, because I mean this was for companies, you know, for companies, because I'm just an author. I'm just a normal guy, an author, but in companies you have to say, well, I'm a personal development consultant, and then you go into the company and you give them some training, communication on habits, on whatever. But right, so I did that for a couple of years, but now I'm just concentrating on the books, just writing more books. And also it feels to me, yeah, who am I to consult? You know, I think what I want to do is give you solutions, or give you not even solutions, give you suggestions for everybody, for my readers, because I don't even tell you you need to do that or not. I said, like, try it. It worked for me. Try it. You know, I want to preach by example. There are enough people who tell you what to do, you know, who are not doing it. That's the best. Those are the best people who tell you have to do this and that, and then they are not doing it. So I rather work on myself and try to live what I'm preaching, because I think that makes the difference. For my book, all the habits, I did them, I'm doing them, not all the 94 all the time, but always like 5 or 10, you know, and then I change and everything. But I really think in the moment when I wouldn't do it, I would lose credibility and I wouldn't even have success as an author, you know, because I think my readers can feel that it comes from the heart, that it's authentic, that it comes from a person that has done this stuff, because it's very easy to talk about things and not doing them. But I think the credibility comes when you do them. And that's the thing, you know, so that's my goal, living it.
So what happened? I ordered this book and I got the workbook. Like, I wonder why I got the workbook and not the other book.
I don't know. You need to check your order. Maybe you ordered the workbook. Huh? It's a little bit tricky because they look the same, you know. That's the problem is they look the same. Just one says workbook and the other one says. So I have to. That was not very smart for me to make it like this, but well, maybe it was smart because now you have to buy the real book because the workbook is blank.
Right. Okay. All right. So let me get to your website.
I have marcreklau.com, marcreklau.com, or Good Habits Academy. But with my name, when you put my name, so it's Marc with a C and Reklau, Reklau. If you put it in Google, I'll come up everywhere because there are only 2 Marc Reklaus in the world. 2 Marc Reklaus. One with a K, that's not me, and one with a C. But now the poor guy who is with a K, he doesn't appear anymore in Google because I've monopolized everything. When you put Marc Reklau, all my books show up, all the web pages. So I'm in LinkedIn with the same name, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere with the same name. And I really love it when people write to me. I pride myself on answering every email, every message. I still have time to do that. When you are nice, I always answer. If people are rude, I might not answer. Or I might answer later, but usually I always want to be in contact, and I think I owe it to my readers to just give them a little heads up, or just see I acknowledge you, I got your mail, you know, because it happened to me when I wrote to for example, to Martin Seligman, who is the founder of positive psychology. He answered me, and it made me feel so good. So I said, I want to do this also for my reader. If somebody takes the time to write to me, I also want to take the time to answer.
Mm-hmm. So I think I asked you this already. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun?
What do you do for fun?
Walking around on the island, write, be with my girlfriend. Oh God, and here, you know, on this island, it's a tourist island, so there are happy hours everywhere. So, so every now and then joining a happy hour and having 2 drinks for 1, every now and then. But yeah, just like walking. I love nature. I love sunsets and sunrises. I watch a lot of sports. Bought a big TV. That was my first and only buy here, so that I can follow all the sports. That's it.
Marc, I want to thank you.
I want to thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. I hope we talk soon. Take care of yourself. And I see, keep investing in libraries. If you need a donation for some libraries, let me know. Let me know, and I send a couple of books. Give me the address, or I send them to you, or to the library, or then send you 10, 20 books, and you bring it to the library as a donation. What about that?
Absolutely. All right. Marc, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Yo, and give me the address in LinkedIn, and I send these books out today or tomorrow. Huh? I'm not kidding.
Okay. All right.
It was great to talk to you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, Rick. Bye-bye.
Continued success.
Continued success, my friend.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, that was another exciting show with Rick Young and his guests from the island of Malta, Marc Reklau, and he's going to donate some of the books for the people here at Grand Houses Community Radio. And this is GHCR.NYC 95.9 FM. And remember, FM stands for free music, and we'll be, going back to regularly scheduled program. Okay, thank you. Later.